Hey, I do two list reviews today. And the first one is from Joe, who sent me a list saying, could you review this? And what else was it he wrote to me? Yeah, he's not a new player, but it was just a shake and bake, he calls it, that he wanted to run by me. So, and this will be it. So Joe's Japanese platoon, he even calls it shake and bake. Right. 19 order dice, that is high. I don't think it needs to be this high, but you can run it this high and get something good out of it. I will say this, running Japanese is difficult, and it does take a lot of practice. So that said, let's go into it. He's bringing the regular officer with an extra man. I think you could even get away with having two extra. Bamboo spear fighters, one unit of those, 15 men. Always good, because they're so dirt cheap. Manchukuo cavalry, and you're including the HQ, both the Kemputai and the officer, as being on cavalry. I like that. That is a good way to run them. Give them pistols or carbines, so they can shoot a little bit, and that makes them into this little pinball machine, which is great. Only make sure that you're able to get away from potential charges or whatever, right? 8-man cavalry unit, I like that. That gives you a little bit of punch. I think it's needed for running regular cavalry. I've been running my partisan cavalry, and the minimum size I think I want to go is 8-man. Preferably, I actually want them a little bit larger, 9 men, but I think 8-man is good. And the 9 men is just to make sure that I take 5 casualties before I take a test. A flamethrower team, like that. Always a nice addition to any Japanese army, because they don't really have a lot of good shooting options. So having that counterpunch unit is really good. Suicide anti-tankers, especially because also the flamethrower is the natural enemy of Gurkhas, right? Suicide anti-tankers, 3 of those. Always bring those. They're not going to kill much, but they are a threat. Spigot mortar, that is going to kill stuff. Like it. Kuragani for the flamethrower. Second platoon will be another lieutenant. SNLF paratroopers. So these guys have access to submachine guns, which I think you should always take, because it gives you access to tough fighter. And this is an 8-man unit. I love it. It's a really good push unit. Really good push unit. Can skirmish a little bit, can shoot, and very, very survivable. And then the 3 submachine guns will mean that you are dangerous in close combat. Really dangerous. Another bamboo spear fighter to throw at problems, like that. Another flamethrower team, again, to take care of any potential stuff that you can't kill in other ways. Another suicide anti-tanker. Another spigot mortar, and a captured steward. Wow, if your TO allows you to take captured stewards, always take them. But I will say this, they are not available to generic reinforced platoons. So I don't know how you got this. They can be taken in easy army, but that is a mistake. They're not available normally. But if your TO allows it, please take it, because it's so good. It delivers something. It delivers that ranged shooting, the daka, as I term it, that you don't really have in other units here. Kuragane for the flamethrower, and a truck for the paratroopers. I like this. This is a nice platoon here. It's got all the close combat. It's got a little bit of a mix of both cavalry and infantry. It's got the bamboos, but it's got the veterans. It's got flamethrowers. And it's got the Daka and the captured steward. I really like this platoon. Right. So that was Joe. Then Tom sent me, and he says he's a newer player who's been playing around with partisans. And this is basically a budget army. So the only thing he needs to get is a box of Wargames Atlantic partisans, which I think you should get. They are great. I am mixing mine using the German sentries. It's the best buy I've had in a long while. So this is what he's thinking. 1,000 points, generic reinforced platoon, first lieutenant, not needed at all. Don't do that. Take an inexperienced lieutenant. Just works just as well, and you're spending way less points. Don't buy first lieutenants. Typically, especially new players, won't be able to use the extra snap 2 and morale bonus to any good effect, and even veteran players struggle with that. So the Jetbird team, okay, again, not needed. You're investing now almost 100 points in 3 men that basically give you another lieutenant if your first one dies. Not really needed at all. This, however, is needed. So partisan squads, 3 late war squads, yes. I would even take them 7 men. So spend some of the points you're saving from your lieutenants on taking them 7 men. And I would cut out the SMGs and just go with rifles, because that gives you range. You're not going to go into close combat or close range firefights, not with 3 SMGs and 6 regulars. That won't happen. So 1 Panzerfaust and all rifles, 7 men units. Brilliant. The guerrilla fighters, they could really benefit from having a few SMGs though, because they are veterans and they can actually go into those close range firefights. And if you had just like 2 or 3 men extra, they would be a really good push unit. So I think I would spend a little extra on these and then give these the SMGs that you aren't buying on the others here. And I would actually go all SMGs on those veterans. Support teams, a Piat team, yeah. And by the way, this whole idea came up from him winning a Piat team. I would rather take a bazooka team, but the Piat, if you have the model, perfectly fine. Medium mortar, lovely. You don't need to run it regular. You can run it inexperienced, but it takes a little bit of getting used to. Veteran sniper team, not needed to be veteran. Buy it regular. That will save you points. You can spend those points on extra guerrilla fighters. Artillery, take a light AT gun. No, don't. Take the light howitzer. Always take the light howitzer. The light AT gun, it will give you some AT, but you already have that. You've got a Piat and you've got Panzerfausts. You don't need that. SDKZ 222. Yes, this is a lovely little German vehicle. It is unreliable, as all captured vehicles are for the partisans, but you can definitely run this to good effect. As with the Panzer IV, it is way overcosted. Don't ever buy this. It's cool and all, but you're getting 1 heavy AT gun, and it's unreliable. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. And you're buying it inexperienced. You're sinking 200 points into a heavy tank that then has -1 to hit. No. Save the points. You don't need this. I don't think any tank is worth buying for the partisans, competitively not, unless you're buying a multi-launcher tank. So like the, what's that called? The Renault UA or something. This is definitely not worth it. Civilian car, I would take 2. 1 for the Piat and 1 for a flamethrower, which you don't take, but you could, because you're saving the points on this Panzer IV. And a general purpose truck. Yes, I would take that, but I would take it to transport my guerrilla fighters up into the center board, which means buy more guerrilla fighters. So cut away the tank, buy more guerrilla fighters, cut away the AT gun, buy more guerrilla fighters, buy more partisans, cut out these very expensive lieutenants, and I think you're good to go. That would be my advice. Right. Tom and Joe, thank you so much for the lists. To everyone tuning in, that was it for today. I will see you in the next video. Cheers.